93% of people believe that self-confidence is the biggest indicator of future financial success. Also, self-confidence ranks as the #1 most attractive quality between men and women. But yet, 85% of people report struggling with self-confidence to a certain extent. In this video, we're not going to be having a surface level conversation about confidence. We're going to be diving deep into exactly what confidence is and how you can build it with proven strategies. A lot of the lessons in this video are going to be coming from personal experience because when I was 16 years old, I severely struggled with confidence in every area of my life. I wasn't confident in my physical abilities. I wasn't confident in my intellectual capabilities. I wasn't confident in my faith. I wasn't confident in really every aspect of my life. But over the past 8 years and through the processes I'm going to be outlining in this video, I've gained an extreme amount of confidence in myself. I now run an 8-figure PR firm. I have six-pack abs. I'm confident in the way I look. I'm confident in my own body. I'm confident in making decisions and my intellectual capability. And I really live life on my own terms. And I'll be presenting this material in a way that you can action some of these steps immediately to gain more confidence in yourself. Because once you gain confidence in yourself, you're going to see that success will become easier for you. You're going to be able to make decisions effortlessly. You're not going to need validation from others anymore because all the validation you need will be coming from your own self-worth. You're going to be really more content with life just as a whole, and you're going to be more hopeful for the future. But before we get into the exact steps and the proven strategies for improving your confidence, we first need to understand exactly what is confidence. So the word confidence actually comes from the Latin word fidere. The only reason I know that is because my dad took Latin when he was in university, and so he always would tell us these Latin phrases. But fidere would basically mean to trust. And so confidence is to trust. And self-confidence is to trust in yourself. So if we consider the attribute of trust being in direct correlation with confidence, I want you to consider your friend group, for example, the people who you spend your most time with, maybe your family members. What are the qualities that you look for in those people in order to trust them? Now, these characteristics would probably include staying consistent, being a man of their word, never getting caught in a lie, saying what they mean and mean what they say, communicating effectively and clearly. They have honesty. They probably have a very strong belief system. Now, the most interesting part about this is the average person is actually very critical about their friend groups to see if they meet those trustworthy characteristics. Yet, they're not critical about themselves if they meet their own trustworthy characteristics. A perfect example of this is in conversations with a lot of people I've had in the past, is they say in a hypothetical situation, if their girlfriend or wife cheated on them, that would be 1000% the end of the relationship, which in a sense makes sense in a monogamous relationship where you have previously committed to just being faithful to that one person. And if they cheat, that is probably the most extreme version of breaking that trust barrier. So I can understand that. But if you look at yourself in terms of the commitments that you make to yourself and the things that you say that you're going to do and the things that you say that you're going to stick to, and then you lie and cheat about those things, the difference between those two things is you have to live with yourself no matter what. And this is really what happens of us losing trust in ourselves, therefore losing confidence in ourselves, is when our actions don't line up with what we say we're going to do. Confidence isn't something you're born with and isn't something that you just give to yourself or give to others. Confidence is earned through the actions that you do. So at the highest level, and really with every single strategy I'm going to be giving today, it all comes down to staying true to your word. If you can stay true to your commitments, you will start believing that you're a man of your word, and you will slowly start leveling up your confidence. So without further ado, these are the 8 proven strategies that you can implement into your life and that I've used over the past 8 years to gain a tremendous amount of self-confidence. Number 1 is seeking independence. I actually see this as the #1 way to build confidence for any single person who's a part of the younger generation right now. And the reason for this is because independence is the #1 thing you're striving for from going from under the age of 18 into adulthood. And the only way you can obtain that independence is if you do the things that are required to become independent. But the problem is all throughout our lives, we're being forced into a direction of being dependent on others. When you're in high school and university, you're not taught how to be an independent thinker. The majority of high school and university teachings are about how there's a singular answer and a singular directional path to obtain that answer. And you have to follow through with that, or else you fail that subject, fail that class. And so it is inherently teaching you how to not think outside the box, not be creative, and therefore be a dependent thinker. Then when you graduate high school and go to university, unless your parents are extremely well off and are able to pay for your university and entire room and board, you're forced to go into student loan debt where you will be dependent on paying the government. And then you likely won't even have enough money to be paying for your rent. And so you might have to live with your parents for a period of time, remaining dependent on your parents. Then finally, when you've graduated university, maybe you've gotten a job and then have finally paid off all of your student loan debt and theoretically have reached a level of independence, then you're in a career that you might not like and you're striving towards retirement, where during retirement, you're wanting to receive a pension, and that pension is you being dependent on the government. Now, that is not the life that I want anyone to live, especially the people who are watching this video. And my biggest takeaway for the younger generation to seek independence is by moving out as soon as possible after the age of 18. I know that this tip is very counterintuitive to popular opinion, but as soon as I moved out at the age of 18, every single part of my life got better. I was able to have more time by myself, being more focused. I was able to reflect more, which gave me greater insight about the past that I could utilize because I had more time with myself. I had an undeniable motivation because I had to provide for myself and I never wanted to decrease my standards of living from that point in time. And then my relationship with my dad after I moved out of my dad's house actually got better because there was a separation. And when you see your parents without having to see them every single day, it's actually really beautiful in terms of coming together for a specific period of time. The second strategy for improving self-confidence is working out and hitting the gym. When you work out on a consistent basis and get into a routine, you have a sense of accomplishment immediately. It's actually the easiest win that you can get on a consistent basis. When you get really into working out and do it on a consistent basis, you inherently start setting goals and milestones that you end up achieving. And so what happens is when you are achieving milestones and setting them, you're making these small commitments to yourself that you're following through with, which is giving you more strength to your word and building more trust with yourself. When you work out, you're increasing your body perception. Just naturally, when you exercise, you're going to become a better looking version of yourself. And even if you aren't immediately, you know that you're taking the steps towards that, which is going to build more self-confidence. Exercising and working out is the number one way for releasing endorphins. Now, what happens is endorphins goes through your bloodstream to counteract basically the stress that you're doing from working out. And then it binds to receptors in your brain and it relieves pain. And then it also gives you a sense of well-being. All of these things help build massive self-confidence. Now, the third strategy is understanding that confidence isn't in the comfort zone. When you are able to work past an uncomfortable situation or an uncomfortable task, then you're telling yourself what you're capable of. What happens when you're able to endure an uncomfortable situation or task is you're building respect with yourself. Respect isn't just given out to yourself and isn't given out to others. Respect is earned. And inherently, you only respect things in life that are hard to obtain. You don't respect somebody for just like walking or breathing because any single person can do that. Respect comes from the things that are very difficult to attain and the things that are very uncomfortable for most people and uncomfortable for yourself. Especially if you know inside yourself that you're doing something that's uncomfortable and you go past that and do it anyways despite your circumstances. That is exactly how to build respect with yourself and therefore how to build self-confidence. Number 4, and this one is one of my favorites, and it's that confidence comes through preparation. Now, the biggest aspect you need to understand about this is when you don't have experience, you need to have preparation in order to have confidence to complete the work. A great example of this is the first sales call that I ever did. Now, back then, I didn't have any experience with sales. I read through some scripts, I read through some trainings about sales, but I didn't have experience. So I knew that I needed a lot of preparation in order to just be able to go through the sales call in general, just have confidence in myself to be able to go on to it because I was extremely nervous. And so I knew, since I didn't have experience in it, I needed to prepare as much as possible. So what I did is I reviewed the client heavily, tried to collect as much data beforehand in terms of the type of business he was running, his social media accounts, his website, and then I reviewed the script heavily. And then finally, I role played how the call potentially could go while I'm on it. So I had all of this preparation to give me evidence of myself that I was prepared for this call, even though I didn't have the experience. And what that led to is I didn't end up closing the deal, but I made it through the call in a way better manner than I ever thought possible because I had that preparation, which gave me confidence to take those consecutive sales calls after that. And what it really made me learn is that preparation and experience are inversely proportional to one another. So basically, the more experience that you have in a particular category skill set, the less preparation you need. And the less experience that you have, the more preparation that you need. And the reason for this relationship is because experience is the amount of repetitions that you have doing a particular task. Like how long and how many reps have you been doing something for? And so confidence in your skill set and ability to do certain work is either through the amount of preparation that you have for that particular work or for the amount of reps, aka experience, that you have for that particular skill set of work. And in an ideal world, you have both. The number 5 strategy for increasing your self-confidence is having nice clothes. Dressing up triggers the release of neurotransmitters that are directly associated with positive emotions. The number 6 strategy for increasing your self-confidence is having a nice haircut. Now, I'm not sure if we can post some pictures up right here of the horrible haircuts I had when I was younger, but it's because I just didn't have a barber that knew what he was doing. So what I would suggest that you do is go to the best barbershop you have in your city that knows haircuts very well and get him to suggest the best haircut for your style of hair, because there's a lot of things that go into it, much more than you think. It's the shape of your head, and then it's also the texture of your hair. You know, if you have curly hair, straight hair, whatever it is, wavy hair, you want to get consulting advice for what the best haircut is for you, because you're going to have that haircut for a long period of time. And what really happens with dressing nice and having a good haircut is when you start presenting yourself correctly, people start taking you seriously. And when people take you seriously, it gives you more confidence in yourself. The number 7 tip is the importance of posture. And I want you to take a look at this video from Jordan Peterson.
And like if your serotonin levels fall, you get depressed, you crunch forward, and the whole, everything around you turns cloudy and black. And then you're inviting more oppression, right? And so you get into this bad loop, you know, and so it's really important to, if you're trying to get your act together, it's really important to stretch yourself out and sit up properly, because it's part of the psychophysiological loop that can start you on the upward curve. And so it's a really important thing to take note of. And like if you've been bullied, say when you were a kid, maybe you've moved and so it's sort of irrelevant, you're still carrying that with you in the hunched shoulders, and then you can't breathe properly, and your voice isn't right, and you invite more bullying, because the predator types are always looking for people who look like they can be intimidated and who will make a nice fuss if they are, you know, like a nice gratifying, they'll make nice gratifying sounds of suffering if you torment them, right? Because that's what a bully really wants.
Now you can understand in this video that bad posture can be directly correlated with lower self-confidence all the way from an early age. Compared to when you sit up straight and are cognizant about your posture, you're immediately presenting yourself in a more confident way. And the 8th strategy for increasing your self-confidence is embracing sufferings. Now, my dad always used to say this piece of scripture when I was growing up, but I didn't fully grasp it. And how it goes is embrace the sufferings, because sufferings produces endurance, endurance builds character, character gives us hope, and hope never lets us down. Now, what this piece of scripture captures is that being able to endure suffering, so being able to go through sufferings, ideally like embrace sufferings, because you know sufferings and problems in your life is an inevitability of life. You coming into this world, you know that you're going to have problems and sufferings. There's no way around it. And so embracing them and going through them, enduring them, gives you the confidence in yourself that you can endure those same things in the future. And so you know you can take on bigger problems, bigger sufferings in the future. They get you to a whole nother level of life, whole new perspective of life. And what I really learned going through life, and especially these past 8 years, is no matter how rich you get, how well off you get, how successful in the financial side of things, every single person in this world has problems and sufferings. And the goal isn't to get rid of those problems and sufferings. The goal goal is ideally to get better at dealing with those, get better at enduring those sufferings, embrace it, and then being able to work on bigger problems in the future. And that's a wrap on this video. Those are the 8 strategies to increasing your self-confidence. I hope you can take away this and immediately implement some of these into your life, because I guarantee they will increase your self-confidence just by implementing any single one of them. And so this is Luke Lintz. Thank you for watching this entire video. If you got to the end, make sure to comment down below what you'd like to see in a future video, and like, comment, subscribe. Peace.